Welcome back, guys. Hopefully by now you've had a chance to make your very own Rick Rolltop backpack. As you can see, the way that it's currently written, you have a nice wide open top here, and then it just closes with the buckle. But today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add a little bit of a recessed zipper in this portion so that it can zip completely shut and then close with the buckle. I've had a couple of requests, is there a way to add a zipper to the top? It's a little tricky because you can see the back panel and the front panel wrap around to meet together back here. So it's not just a simple like add a zipper straight across. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, and there's not any changes to the construction other than when you have your exterior and your liner separate, that's when we put the zipper in. We're going to need a few additional supplies. We will need more zipper by the yard than what the materials list calls for. For the standard size, you want at least 19 inches long. This will give you a small tail at the end to allow your bag to open wide, but I also don't want this massive tail sticking out when the bag's folded over and closed. So just minimum 19 inches for the standard, and then for petite you would need a minimum of 16 inches. I've also grabbed a little zipper end here. It's a metal zipper end that you just screw in place at the end. Otherwise you will have to have a fabric end for your zipper. Keep that in mind. And then an additional zipper pull. To install the zipper end, I also have a small screwdriver handy, ready to go. So I've already measured a ½ inch down from one end of the zipper tape on both sides, and I placed a mark. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and carefully separate the top a little bit. And then at this mark, I'm going to go ahead and form a little, I'm going to pinch it, form a crease. And what that does is it pulls the teeth to the right here. So now I'm just going to lay that fold right at the teeth. You can hold this with a pin, you can do a couple rows of stitches, you could do whatever you prefer. I'm just going to kind of lightly touch it with my heater here to kind of melt that nylon coil together so that it just holds that fold right in place, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat with this side. So we're going to just pinch at that mark. It's going to cause the zipper teeth to pull immediately to a 90-degree to the left. And I'm just going to go ahead and catch this edge with my lighter as well. There we go. So now you got both edges going off at a 90-degree angle. So now we're going to take the opposite end of our zipper tape and we're going to thread our pull on. Now that we've turned the other end, it will lock in place just like this. There we go. All right, so we have done the pattern as written up to this point. So we have the completed exterior that is currently separated from the completed liner. We're going to go ahead and separate these two and set the liner off to the side. As for the exterior, we currently have the center top markings noted here, but what we need to do is we need to find the centers on each side as well. So I've clipped a little notch here, and then I've also snipped a notch on this side. Then from that center mark on each end, you're going to measure in a ½ inch on this side and mark, a ½ inch on this side and mark. So from that center seam, it'll be a full 1 inch gap on each side. We're going to do that over here as well, so you can see the markings there as well. So those are important landmarks for this next part when we go ahead and add our zipper. I did go ahead and add the zipper end off camera. So basically I just kind of fold the back sides onto itself and then I stick it into the slot and then I screw the little screw in place. So now we're ready to add our zipper. So far I did add some 1/8 inch double-sided tape along the front and the back edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing off this front side here. So since I want my zippers to open from left to right, I'm going to have my zipper pull on the left-hand side. Currently it is wrong side face up, and that's the part we're going to be working with. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the zipper puller all the way to the end here, and I'm going to have the 90-degree angle of the teeth line up right here at the marking we placed. So line up those teeth, and then I will line up the long edge of the zipper tape with the edge of the exterior and keep pressing it into the tape. You, of course, can use clips if you'd like. All right, so we got to our marking on the opposite end here, so I don't want to continue to tape this, but as you can see, my tail is pretty short. I don't want it hanging out of my bag, so I kept it short. But when we go to sew this part, we will want to make sure we tuck that out of the way and start and stop our stitching right here. So now I'm going to kind of keep it wrong side up, and I'm going to hold the zipper so I can stay oriented correctly. But I'm going to go ahead and now peel off the backing of the tape on the opposite side. Keeping the zipper tape still wrong side face up, I'm going to lay that 90-degree right at that marking we have on the opposite side as well. Then carefully line those edges up, pressing it into the tape all across the back. Now we have our same marking over here, so we're going to stop the stitching here. There's a 1-inch gap. Here's our zipper. It's not twisted or anything. That is what we want at this point, okay? So now you can go ahead and base that in place, an 1/8 inch for the edge to keep the zipper intact. And then we're going to turn our exterior wrong side out, and our liner we're going to leave right side out and tuck it back in and sew that top edge just like we normally would. Okay, so you can see with the black stitching, I did base the zipper in place, and I started and stopped my stitching at the marks on each end. Now this end's not going to really matter so much when we go to sew the perimeter. We're just going to continue to sew right across from it. But when we go to sew this side, we do want to make sure that this zipper tail is pulled out of the way. Like, we don't want to catch it up here in the seam. So we'll just want to be mindful of that when we go to sew this top edge. So now we finished off the bag just as the written version. So I'm going to see, this is the back wall. We are going to take the back wall of the liner and we're going to tuck those sides in matching. Then I'm going to find my center landmarks again and clip those all in place. So this part should look familiar from the other video. We're going to sew in the round. Since I'm on a flatbed machine, I can't just throw it over my machine and sew from the top where I have my basting stitch to look out for. So what I did do is I placed markings where the tail is. So here's where I'm starting and stopping. This is where I want to make sure the tail is tucked down and that I don't catch the zipper tape in my top stitching. So I have it pushed down as best I can out of that way there, and then so this is just going to be where I want to be especially mindful. Otherwise I'm going to go ahead and continue with my 3/8 inch seam allowance around in the curve. So go ahead and stuff it back in, the lining into your main body. Remember, you have to use your whole arm to get this seated deep inside. We kept the liner still shorter than the exterior, so the exterior is going to roll on the inside, so the zipper will be slightly recessed, which is what we do want. We don't want to be able to fully see it. See how it's going in on itself? So I'm going to finish fiddling with it, getting it seated deep inside, and then I will show you how it looks all finished. Now you can see the lining is pushed deep inside. We'll go ahead and press this top edge with our iron just like we did before. But now we have our zipper top closure, and this is that little tail I was talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and just tuck that in the little channel we left here because I don't want it sticking out. There, now it's kind of like an inconspicuous zipper closure. We still have our roll down look. Voila. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now you have your zipper closure. So what do you think? Do you like the idea of an easy open and close with just a buckle closure, or would you prefer a zipper? I know people say they want a zippered closure, but I'm watching you guys. I always watch people when I'm out and about. Nobody zips their bags. Nobody does. Now you got that option. If you still want that easy clasp, but you want the option of it zipping for whatever reason, leave it unzipped and clasp it like that. Thanks for watching, guys.